Hello, it's October 23rd, which means movie number 23 in October's Horror Movie Marathon Fest. That was an odd pause. Anyway, today I watched The Lazarus Effect. This is a 2015 movie, and this puppy is now on Netflix. It was directed by David Gelb, or Gelb, G-E-L-B. I assume it's Gelb. Written by Luke Dawson and Jeremy Slater. This is a small cast, and there's only one name that I didn't immediately know, and I could almost do this without looking at my phone. But anyway, the movie stars Mark Duplass, Olivia Wilde, Sarah Bulger, Evan Peters, Donald Glover, with a cameo by Ray Wise. And there's a couple other people in it. Excuse me, The Lazarus Effect, for those of you who don't know, is about a group of doctors/scientists who are working on a Lazarus-type drug that will bring the dead back to life. It's basically something that's supposed to be used in hospitals when a patient crashes. It'll re-stimulate the brain and basically give the doctors a chance to save the patient. But of course, this is a horror movie, so there's an accident. Olivia Wilde's character dies, and they bring her back, and things go awry. So there you have it in a nutshell. First of all, very short movie, less than an hour and a half long, which is good for a horror movie in my opinion. This is a PG-13 movie. I know a lot of people think that PG-13 horror is not really horror. You have to be R-rated. I'm not going to get too much into that, but I think the rating of a horror movie is less important than the writing, directing, and acting. I do love this cast. Mark Duplass is probably best known for The League comedy, which I absolutely love. So it was interesting to see that, and that's pretty much all I know him from. So interesting to see him play a straightforward character, a serious role, not being all quirky and funny and wild and crazy. Olivia Wilde, excuse me, maybe best known for House, but she's done so much other stuff that she's, maybe you know her from something else. Her character, I suppose, is a little bit like her character from House, but that's just because she's a doctor. Obviously, an incredibly smart person if she's part of this project that can bring the dead back to life. She does a great job. Donald Glover, I always love him, but again, familiar with his comedy work on Community. So interesting to see him playing it straight. Evan Peters, I actually didn't take me long to remember who he was, which is, again, probably best known as Quicksilver in X-Men Days of Future Past. He's also in Kick-Ass, co-starring with someone else who played Quicksilver in The Avengers Age of Ultron. So Sarah Bulger was the one who looked familiar, but I couldn't place her. I checked on IMDb, and I didn't see anything that I would know her from. But she seems so familiar, and she does a fine job. They all do a good job, and it's always nice to see Ray Wise. A lot of jump scares in the film, but there are some, I think, creepy moments. I do like some of the things they did with the story. I definitely like where the implications of the end of the movie. I don't think that gives anything away, does it? There's some CGI, but I don't think it's overused. There's not, it's PG-13, so there's really not much gore at all. There's a little bit of blood, but I wouldn't call any of what we see gore. I did like some things. The first successful test of this Lazarus drug is on a dog, and I did like some of the things they did with the dog after it came back to life. That was pretty cool. I kind of was hoping the ending would, I don't know if I should say hoping. I thought it would be really cool if the ending had gone a certain way. I can't say what that way is. If you want to know, ask me in the comments, and I'll tell you. I'm not sure how much sense it'll make if you haven't seen the movie. So if you've seen the movie, or you watch it after seeing this video, we can talk about it below, and I can tell you what I thought would be really cool for the end of the movie. So there's all sorts of, there's implications of heaven and hell, what happens when you die, is there an afterlife, all that sort of stuff. It doesn't really dig too deeply into this. It's not an intellectual film by any means, but I did find it entertaining, I guess, which is the most important thing. And while I was watching it, I kind of thought of it as a mashup. I don't want to. All right, I won't be specific. I was thinking of it as a mashup of two Stephen King stories filtered through Hollywood and the PG-13 filter. Just one of those things. Maybe it's just how my brain works. But at one point, I'm like, oh, this just reminds me of this Stephen King story. And then some other things happen. I was like, oh, that reminds me of this other Stephen King story. And again, I don't want to be specific. I don't want to give away any potential surprises if you choose to watch this film. So anyway, rambling about the Lazarus Effect. I'm going to give this 7. Yeah, I think we'll go with 7.5. 7.5 traumatic childhood memories. That should work. Not a fantastic movie, not a bad movie. It was entertaining. It's short, which is good. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I don't mean like, oh, thank God it was short. I just think for horror, the shorter, I was going to say the shorter the better. But I think if you try to stretch it too far, you're going to lose that tension and the suspense. If you just keep going on and on and on, it just gets repetitive and boring. This is not. It has some interesting ideas, has a really good, entertaining cast. So 7.5 out of 10 traumatic childhood memories. That's movie 23 for October's Horror Movie Marathon Fest. I believe tomorrow, I think I'm going to rewatch a movie that I absolutely love. But we'll see. That's it, and I'll see you next time.